Hey, so today I'm going to go over how you can parody the function of one Emacs mode to another or create your own custom functions to smooth out a workflow based on a package that you like. So for example here, if I do Control C, Control R, it runs the function zig run on the file. It's just the most simple function you could have, hello world. And I get that output in a nice compilation buffer. And let's say I want to emulate that in a language like Golang. The first thing that I'd do is I'd go into the help docs, describe function, and describe that zig run function. And one of the best things about Emacs, and I think why it's persevered so much through the years, is because when you start your instance, it knows about all of the plugins being loaded in, and it knows exactly which file has which function. So if I see here, it says zig run is auto-loaded from zig mode el. If I go into zig mode el, it takes me right to the function definition, and I can see that this zig run command appears to be doing most of the heavy lifting. It's the only function called in zig run, so it's taking all these parameters, it's running them, and I can go to the definition here and see that this uses the compile command to execute zig with command and the optional args. So I can kind of take this out, I can scavenge it, and then use it with Golang, and I just have to change a few things. Aside from the name, I would change this zig bin to just Golang, and then I could use that to make my own Golang function. So if I were to go here, I could have go run command, and I don't think this source is needed, but as you kind of start making these functions, smoothing out your workflow, you can take out what doesn't matter and then add stuff and really kind of make the functions your own, but this is a good starting point. And I can have go run file right here, so if I add these two guys, now if I go to open a go file, so this is just a simple linked list, inserting some stuff, walking the list, printing the elements out. If I were to use go run file here, I get the exact same output that I would if I was running a zig file with zig run. So that's one way you can take a function that exists and then start using it to get ideas for Emacs Lisp functions of your own. Because one thing I've found with Emacs Lisp is the default functions. They're so numerous and there's so many that kind of do the same thing. Finding exactly what you need is hard. So the best way is to look at packages that do what you like with one language and then try to emulate that in another language. And you can slowly build up this workflow around that. And as you're doing it, you'll start to learn about other functions. For instance, if I go into zig mode el, I can see that it's running this compilation start command. So this command is one of my favorites for running shell commands. You also have async shell start, but as you look at these packages, you start learning Emacs Lisp indirectly, and you can start finding functions you like, functions that you want to use for other things. For instance, I found compilation start, which I used in some Ruby functions that I made for running the server and running the command shell and all those things.